What's up, you amazing indie artists across the freaking globe? Thank you so much for tuning in to Roadmap Street Signs Indie Artist Showcase with Sanja Danette. Say that 10 times fast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I also want to give a shout out to Unapologetically Creative Network for airing this show on Stitcher, Podbeam, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. You would not believe what I've been through these past couple of weeks. But what I will tell you is that in within a matter of days, I had two laptops and a phone to like pretty much clunk out on me. Just got another laptop and was able to get the other one repaired, and I still have to go pick up my phone. So oh, after all of that, then I get the program. I use Audacity to record, as well as to input the interviews onto the show. Um, had to troubleshoot that, but we're here. We're finally up and running, back on course. Back on course. Um, but yeah, we have an awesome and amazing show for you today. Very excited about it. We're actually going to continue from where we left off. We were looking at a guide for sync licensing, and that is pretty much just the rights or placements, permission to have your songs put on any type of media that's film, television, commercials, etc. And what we looked at were the six, components that you'll be dealing with when you negotiate, as far as getting your music played. That was media. What is it going to be aired on? Term. How long is the term? You know, territory. Where is it going to be aired? Exclusivity. Never do full exclusivity. Okay, don't do that. And we talked about fees. We talked about MFN. Okay, MFNN, very important. Um, those are the things that we talked about. And we're moving on to the next portion of the guide. And again, this guide by was done by Josh Briggs, illustrations by Sonny Eckerly. Okay, yeah, Eckerly. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so let's say you've got your negotiations right, you got your, you know what you need for that. Now, do you do this on your own? Do you head out on this venture on your own, or do you hire someone? Do you hire someone who knows the ins and outs of the business, who's going to be able to um, help you open those doors that would otherwise not be open to you? So, in other words, are you going to hire a third party licensing agency to pitch or to shop your music? So, if you do that, that's great because you won't have to figure out how to, make sure your agreements are right, chase down payments. Um, you also get the benefit of their relationship, their established relationship within the industry, their view. Um, and, hopefully they're excited about your music, and they can give you advice on your demos, give you briefs, prompts, and help you find other team members, to help you achieve your goals, whatever they might be, in this area. Yeah, so if you can afford it, definitely check out the third party licensing agencies. Usually it's between 20 to 30% that they earn on the commission, depending. It should absolutely never be more than 50%, though. Okay, so make sure you read the contracts thoroughly, ask questions, and consult an outside attorney if you need help with understanding things, or just do your own research if you choose to go that route. If you choose to go the independent route, it's just going to be involve a lot more effort, going to involve a lot more of everything. Okay, so because you're going to be doing everything alone. So I would suggest, unless you already are, abreast and familiar with how things work in this realm, definitely, I would definitely get a third party licensing agency. Although sometimes, many times, producers and film producers will reach out to indie artists to have their music featured on their work. Even with that, make sure that you have a clear and concise contract with all the terms and with everything outlined, so that there are no questions. So that there are no questions. Even if you're friends, or even if whatever, get a contract. Get a contract. Even if it's menial, whatever. Get a contract stating, based on those terms, and we just those points, okay, get a contract. Just get a contract. Just get a contract. Yes, we all want exposure, but get paid too, because exposure happens. Exposure happens. Freaking get paid, okay? Get paid. All right. Now, so let's move on to this. We're almost finished. It probably due. I don't think I'm going to finish on this one, but the next episode I definitely will be finishing it. So make sure you do your research, you know, looking at the movies, or any of the hot new shows, and listening into who's, what kind of music they're playing. Because, and then find out who placed the music there. You got TuneFind, Film TV, iSpot.tv, IMBD. Okay, IMDb. I always get that wrong. IMDb. You can find the music supervisors' names for whatever those shows or movies were. Um, all of that is important data to know and to look up, because you might be able to find some information, especially if the music is like the music that you do. You might want to know what company put them on, or who they're with, what agency they're with, as far as getting their music on that show, or on that commercial, on that movie. Okay. Because I definitely loved Self-Made soundtrack, was amazing. And there were some indie artists on there, as well as, of course, well-known artists. But yes, listen out for those things. Do the research if you're, serious about making this happen for yourself. Make sure you keep your files in order, okay? Um, have your lyrics typed out, and you need to have a high res mastered audio. This is not an MP3, okay? Or streaming links. This is high res audio is what productions need to make sure it's high enough quality for broadcast. So they specifically ask for AIFF files, because unlike WAV files, and AIFF retains metadata. Okay, that means if we share your files with someone else, when they open it in iTunes, they'll see more than just a song called blank. They will also see the artist name and the contact info, and how to license it, etc. Instrumentals and alternate mixes are crucial in your sync licensing. Get them printed, get them mastered when you get your record mastered. That way they stand up to other mastered instrumentals in a pitch. Pitch meaning when they're selling or trying to shop your music. Because they may want the music. They might just want the music. If it's recorded live and there's a vocal bleed into the instrumental, it's likely not going to be useful. So when recording, overdub vocals whenever possible. If instrumentals aren't and can't be available, say so. Also, if you um, use profanity in a song, consider making a clean version as well, because they may not want, the explicit version for their work. So that's something for you to think about as well. Make sure that you have the lyrics typed out, so that they know exactly what is being said, you know, so that they know exactly what's being said. That's just always, a Word doc, Google Doc, PDF, or any other universal file type will work. Just make sure you have it there, have it ready. I have mine on Word, but I'm thinking about just having I'm thinking about putting everything on an external drive because of what just happened to my laptop. Like it's gone, and I had to pay like $150 to get the files because I need those files. A lot of my lyrics are there in other work. So yeah, yes, do what you need to do. Google Docs, I would say, is definitely great because then it's in the cloud. Put in the cloud, put it on external drive. Back it up. Do what you got to do. Um, now, who controls what? Record label, writing publisher splits. Okay, this is can get a little messy sometimes. It just depends. But if you're up front and if everyone knows where everything is, we should be good. But it's essential for the licensing of a song. If you wrote the song and it contains no samples or pieces of other people's music, and you haven't signed to a record label, you are the owner of your own composition and recording. Okay, that's great because it's pretty cut and dry. All right, now, um, if you have co-writers on a song, or if you're signed to a publishing deal or have a deal with another third-party sync agent, make sure you disclose that before making that deal. Okay, everyone with songwriting credit, regardless of the percentage of ownership, has equal say in whether or not a song can be synced. Okay, so if a record label or distributor has sync rights as a part of your deal with them, you need to note that. Co-writers are different than bandmates. Bandmates can be co-writers, but that's a conversation you should have with your band before money is on the table. Okay, if they didn't write it, they didn't write it. I'm just saying. So that's something you want to talk with your band mates. Disclose any samples, cover songs. Okay, don't hide samples. Don't hide cover songs. Doesn't matter how small. If someone else might own part of your composition or master, you need to make that known. If you can make your music without samples, please do that. If you do not disclose a sample and go on to license that song, you are committing copyright infringement and you can be sued. Okay, so just make sure that you clear it. If it's a sample, find the person, the writer, clear it. It's actually not even. I've met a couple of people who were able to get a cover played on a movie or on a soundtrack on a commercial, and they just had to get it cleared by the writer. And it can actually be a lot simpler than you think. We're going to talk to an artist about that later on, not today, but yes. Now, um, where did you make your record? That's kind of important because if your music, is recorded by a union like SAG, AFTRA, or a non-union. If it's non-union, that's great. Then it doesn't matter. If they are union, that's not a deal breaker either. But either way, whoever's recording your music, make sure you know whether they are union or non-union. And also make sure that you know where you let them know where you are geographically, cities, regions, countries. Sometimes there are projects that are looking for artists from a particular place, or they want someone who's actually able to travel to the set, without having to pay any travel. Okay, so make sure that you um, initiate that conversation as well. Now, your bio, get it together. It's a good idea to make a one sheet or press release when you have a new record, as well as a bio on your website. But you can also share marketing updates with your licensing agent on a regular basis, unless um, someone tells you otherwise. Send them things like new press photos, positive reviews, celebrity retweets praising your music, impressive DSP stats, okay, etc. Subscribers, yada yada yada. All the the stats, those things that matter to the business side, right? Upcoming tour dates, anything else that can keep you on your sync agent's radar. If you have an agent, you want to update them on your information as well. So put some thought into what you're doing. You don't ever want your music to be associated with ads or with certain brands specifically. Um, where do you want your music to be utilized? That's what you need to be thinking about, and that's what you need to be clear on. Um, that's always, important. Okay, so be specific. Think about what type of show, what type of commercial, where you want your music. Where could this fit? Sometimes people write to where they want their music to be, or you already have the music and you can fit it to something that is already in existence. If your song is already there, oh, this can totally fit, blah blah blah. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. So give your rep a lot of songs catalogs. Okay, a catalog or work, a body of work that is versatile, that's flexible. Okay, like you want to have at least 10 songs. Okay, at least 10, 20, 30. That's a great place to be as far as shopping your work. You want to have a body of work. That's what I'm currently working on. I'm currently working on a catalog, about to get in the studio and just get it in, because now is the time. Now it's the time. Okay. All right. So I think that was enough. We are almost through with the guide. We actually are I'm going to go over the last part next episode. So we just went over the different things to consider and what you need to be doing. Um, be organized, have your research, make sure you have an AIFF file, um, because it's important. High res mastered audio, absolutely needed. Talked about instrumentals, mixes, lyrics, whew, splits, record label disclosure, if it's a sample song or a cover. Okay, we talked about all those other little details that make a huge difference in what you're doing. Now we're moving on to the other portion of the show, which is going to be the interview, and I'm uber excited because this is my first bilingual interview. We'll be listening to Greenfield, the artist. He is from Colombia. He's a former soccer player. Ooh. But first though, we're going to listen to his songs, a couple of his songs. One of his songs, and it's the one that he talks about, is the one that I heard and I was shaking to at Calabar in Atlanta. Yes, I was shaking to it. And I was like, "Ooh!" He's like, "That's my song." I'm like, "What? Okay, okay." But let's listen to his work, and then we're going to listen to his story. I know it's dope. Let's hear it. This one is called Asesina Final. So let's listen.
Yo mami, Greenfield, Greenfield. Dime si tú sabes dónde voy. Te vi bailar, ya no sé quién soy. Esa risa me vuelve loco. Quiero ser tuyo. ser tuyo. Una asesina, mami, lo que eres una asesina. Una asesina, con esa miradita como me domina. Una asesina, y yo que le pregunto por qué está solita. Una asesina, es una asesina. Yo sabía que era una asesina, con esa mirada como domina. Como menea, como camina. Si le caigo primero, ninguna me la quita. Tira para adelante. Ya, ya, ya. Métele coraje. Que yo soy un tigueraje. Yo no pienso resbalarme. No, no, no. Yo pues. O como Dominican dice que lo que. Nos vamos de vacaciones por un mes. Como DJ Khaled dice we the best. Dice we the best. Soy super fresh. Yeah. Ya tú sabes como ok, tu mami ya tú sabes como yo lo meto. Y toda la gente quiere dudar de mi música, ahora dame mis respetos. Que cuando ella se acerca y me dice esta noche soy suya por completo. Ella es mi veneno, yeah. Ella es mi veneno. Dime si tú sabes dónde voy. Bailar ya no sé quién soy. Esa risa me vuelve loco. Quiero ser tuyo, ser tuyo. Una asesina, mami, lo que eres una asesina. Una asesina, con esa miradita como me domina. Una asesina, y yo que le pregunto por qué está solita. Una asesina, es una asesina. Dile bájate, bájate, tócate los pies, dile bájate, bájate, tócate los pies, dile bájate, bájate, tócate los pies, tócate los pies, tócate los pies, dile bájate, bájate, tócate los pies, dile bájate, bájate, tócate los pies, dile bájate, bájate, tócate los pies, tócate los pies, tócate los pies, yeah. Kill mami, ya tú sabes mi amor, usted es una asesina con ella. Ya lo sabes, aquí está Greenfield. Ya lo sabes, Mike, cuando le veo por aquí, dame una vueltica.
Hey, yes, that was Asesina by Greenfield, the artist. And then I'm going to listen to the one more. We're going to listen to one more of his songs, and it's entitled. I'm gonna do which one do I want to do? Because I like them. I'm gonna do Caution. Caution. And here we go. Let's work it.
They gonna wanna kill me after this one. Yeah. I'm staying patient, I hear what they say. Plotting my assassination, might as well embrace it. Rappers faking every lie, this ain't no exaggeration. Funny how we still slaves, but I ain't talking about plantation. The world we live in is something kinda toxic. Feeding us narcotics so that the big boys make a profit. Chaotic with no logic, turning us demonic. Exactly where they want us, so now we riot. Tell me, what's the mission? Why does everybody gotta be in competition? It's like the human race is just looking up in submission. Cause we all got to the fact that we all in the coalition. Jotting down these lines in my composition. Contemplating how to kill these fucking politicians. Proposition, put a bomb in their condition. As soon as he turns the ignition, I promise demolition. And I swear, pretty close. All you kids, I'm not close. Say you're so on this, I'm tired of your neck up. Rock up and gold. Tell me you got your goals. Just say it's over some fucking fools. Friends, how you fucking hoes. I can tell that you got a fools. Not a much shit, so you won't come up next. We didn't know, could care less. Another blow, your blood. Stress, how the story goes. Always fell from a different world. You might not agree with me, but when I die, be a fucking go. Caution, cause all day you won't really know when you're subject to blow. Money, hoes, and clothes, but so what? Just another method to try to control us. Caution, cause all day you won't really know when you're subject to blow. Clothes, money, hoes, and clothes, but so what? Just another method to try to control us. Honestly, you could never bother me. I'll be the richest man alive and I don't need the lottery. How does poverty correlate to geography? The ones inside the office be underneath all the robbery. Why is Trump still president? And why does Cosby turning their body cams off evidence. You see these people will sell their souls just for relevance. Mumble rappers with millions of fans with zero intelligence. Not me, I'm the cleverest. My team going up higher than Mount Everest. Let's raise the toast, y'all. Hold up your beverage. I'm not even a rapper, I'm just spitting for the hell of it. Get the bread, that's the mission. Distance, always trust your intuition. Mad, I'm Steve Nash with the vision. I see through all the bullshit from these whack politicians. Caution, cause all day you won't really know when you decide to blow up. Cars, money, hoes, and clothes, but so what? Just another method to try to control us, yeah. Caution, cause all day you won't really know when you decide to blow up. Cars, money, hoes, and clothes, but so what? Just another method to try to control us, yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. All right. Okay, Greenfield. Yes, got that deep message right there. I'm loving it. That's Caution featuring Dopey. Um, man, wow, that's great. I love the message. Um, definitely something you guys need to make sure that you check out Greenfield the artist. His stuff is streaming everywhere. Um, so let's hear his story. And yeah, here we go.
And thank you guys so much. I am so excited for this segment. We are in the interview indie artist showcase segment of the show, and I have with me today Greenfield, the artist. What is up?
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Sandra? Shout out to everybody out there, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much for taking out your time to come share with us. This interview is a little different because we're also going to be doing it in English and in Spanish. So to my Spanish listeners out there, you know, you'll be able to hear his story in español también. So I'm ultra excited about that. So, okay, entonces we're going to jump right in and, you know, let's get it. We just listened to your songs, okay? And now we just want to hear your story and hear more about you know, Greenfield, the artist. So, primero, what's your story? Where are you from? How did you get started in music?
Okay, well, all right. Well, I'm from Bogota, Colombia. I was born there, raised in Florida, Miami, Florida. You know, just a Latin kid. I played soccer most of my life. So as a young kid in Florida, through soccer, I met lots of people. And luckily, that's kind of how, like, my life kind of got pushed into the moments where I am now. Like, I ended up playing soccer. I moved when I was 15. I ended up going to Spain, playing soccer in Spain. Played in Europe for about 10 years. Played in Italy, Ukraine, Romania, Portugal. So, you know, I lived a life, you know, trying to make it out there as a professional soccer player. Got injured, came back. At that time while I was playing, sorry, I forgot to say that, but at the time while I was playing soccer up there, since I was young, I always did music. I always freestyled with my friends. I would put on beats on YouTube and try to freestyle. When I was younger, I would write poems, you know. I think it was just certain artists that made me get into the music life, that what I saw when I was younger, and it got me to just writing poems, writing lyrics, freestyling, and just things like that. And that's pretty much how it got to my music and kind of like took me through my life as I was a soccer player, because as many like soccer players know, those lives can be very lonely. And as I was out there, I kind of feel like music pushed me through that and let me and like kind of coped with everything that I was doing over there, even though I was alone and away from my family and from my friends and stuff like that. So after that, I came back. I got injured. I tore my IT band, unfortunately. Came back here. I was living with my dad at the time down in Florida doing some therapy. I got a call from the Atlanta Silverbacks, and the Atlanta Silverbacks was like, "Hey man, just come over here. You know, we'll pay you some cash, play on the team, and you can get back in shape and stuff like that. So in my head, I was like, I didn't really have anything else. It was about 2 years since I was back into soccer since my injury. So I was like, I might as well come. I had family out here as well. I have some cousins. I have my older sister. Shout out to my cousins and to my older sister. All my family out here in Atlanta. Shout out to ATL, by the way. And started playing soccer. I played for them for a year. I played for the Georgia Reds for a year, which is another team out in Hampton. And then I just kind of felt like, that drive that I had for soccer. I still love soccer. I feel like soccer will always be my number one love. But the drive that I have as a professional to really go chase it, I kind of felt like I didn't have it anymore. So I kind of just had to put into my head and told myself, hey man, like you've always done this music stuff, you've had the passion for it. Might as well start it. And it was funny because I met, his name is Awkward Jones. Shout out to Awkward. And I met him through an Uber. My car was shut down at the time, and I met him through an Uber. And at the time, he was like, yo, bro, just come to the studio. And just because he told me, like, yo, bro, did you ever do music and stuff? And I told him I did music a long time ago, but I don't really do it anymore. And told me to come to the studio. I freestyled one night when I came in. And he was like, yo, bro, you should write something down. You got a dope flow. And literally, like, 2 days later, I wrote down Asesina, which is one of the songs that I sent you. And that's pretty much, since then I haven't stopped. It's been like, 9-10 months. And it's really been I've been trying to push it, trying to do as much music as possible. I do music in English. I do music in Spanish. So just trying to just really represent and just trying to, like, show who I am as a person through my music, pretty much. But, yeah, that's pretty much my story. Soccer player first, artist after, pretty much.
That's awesome. So, entonces, en español, ¿qué es tu historia y cómo empezaste en la música?
Sí, bueno, yo creo que mi historia es un poco rara, mi historia, lo que te puedo decir, porque yo empecé con el fútbol. Desde pequeño yo empecé con el fútbol. Yo, nací en Colombia, en Bogotá, Colombia, y me mudé para Estados Unidos, me creí en Miami, Florida. Y después de estar de un niño latino en Florida, crecí jugando fútbol desde los 4 años hasta que ahorita todavía estoy jugando fútbol en realidad. Entonces, de un tiempo tuve la suerte de coger con el equipo nacional, que a los 15 años yo me fui para España a jugar fútbol. Jugué en España, jugué en Italia, en Ucrania, Portugal. Y en esos tiempos que yo estaba jugando allá, empecé como de estar tan solo y estar allá arriba, empecé a escribir música, empecé a hacer poemas, empecé a hacer freestyling con bases de ahí en YouTube, ¿sabes? Cosas así. Y una cosa a la otra, ya después de tantos años jugando fútbol, me lesioné, me vine para acá. Cuando me volví para Estados Unidos, estuve viviendo con mi papá, y a los 2 años después de terapia, estuve con un equipo aquí en Atlanta. Me mudé para Atlanta, jugué para un equipo aquí en Atlanta que se llama Atlanta Silverbacks. Jugué un año con Atlanta Silverbacks, también jugué un año con Georgia Reds, y en esos tiempos que yo vi que estaba jugando y todavía estaba intentando subir para arriba, no vi que el cuerpo ni la mente en realidad estaba más con el fútbol. Aunque yo amo el fútbol, en realidad lo amo con todo, es mi amor número 1, yo creo, pero en este momento ya no tenía ese hambre, digamos, para seguir con el fútbol. Y por suerte conocí a un amigo en un Uber que se llama Awkward Jones, y un día que yo estaba en un Uber que tenía el carro todo jodido y todo, y me dijo, parce, ven al estudio y a ver si te gusta. Y yo, me fui a verlo una vez en el estudio, hice un freestyle esa noche, y el man me dijo, parce, devuelva, escriba algo, devuelva, y seguimos ahí. Y a los 2 días hice Asesina, y no paré desde ahí. Desde ese día sigo haciendo música, hago música de todos tipos, hago música en inglés, hago música en español, hago reggaetón, latin trap, hip hop, hago música para representar quién soy yo en realidad como persona, y lo que me gusta, digamos, lo que me da a mí gusto de hacer, ¿sabes? Entonces, Ha sido una historia bastante complicada, digamos, pero ha sido bastante buena y yo creo que lo que le falta todavía es la historia, ¿sabes? Todavía estamos empezando, digamos.
Excelente, asombroso. So, really, you answered that question in Spanish, but what are, how would you describe your genre and what artists influenced your music most?
Okay. So this is something that the people always ask me, like, yo, what type of music do you do, or what type of genre? How do you categorize yourself as an artist, right? And I'm always like, dang, well, it's hard to say because I make reggaeton, I make Latin trap, I make hip-hop, I'll do some funk stuff every now and then, you know, so I just consider myself as a world music, you know, I tend to do any type of music. I do music. How it works for me is I'll literally go to the studio or I'll sit in my car and I'll listen to different type of beats. And whatever beat that I like, that I feel like really hits me, and I feel like when I hit it, hits that soul, you know, it's in that moment. That it's just like, all right, this is the one that I got to go with, you know. And I feel like that's how it works for me. So it doesn't matter what type of music. It could be late. I just got on, somebody just asked me to get on a little Bangladesh song, you know, that has like this Bali flow to it. And, you know, and I'm going to try to do that as well because, you know, I like the challenge, and it's just I love all certain type of music. I feel like music is all one. You know, at the end of the day, we're all one, and everything comes into one at one point. So, yeah, world music for sure.
And the main artists or your main influences of your music?
Oh, my main influences. Sorry, yeah. So I have a couple main influences, I would say, since I was young, which kind of got me into music. So when it came to like Latin, I always like Daddy Yankee, I like Don Omar, the old school type reggaeton type people, even though I do like J Balvin now. Bad Bunny's dope too. You know, there's a lot of dope artists out right now as well. And when it comes to like English, because I kind of grew up here in the United States and stuff, it would be like Eminem. I always liked Fabulous, you know, just the flows that he had and stuff like that. I also like, you know, Michael Jackson. Always be, you know, since I was young, I always listened to different type things. So even with my dad and my mom in the car, certain types of like cumbias or you know, salsas or things like that. So it was just certain types of music from everywhere. But I say my main influence would probably be like Eminem and Daddy Yankee, and yeah, those are like my two main people. Probably Eminem is probably my main influence, who like really got me. After 8 Mile, I was just like, bro, I have to get into this, bro. Like, I love this. So yeah, probably say Eminem was my main influence for sure.
Excelente. So, entonces, ¿qué tipo de música que haces y cuáles son tus influencias mejores para tu música?
Okay, bueno, esto va a ser un poco complicado porque lo que me dice la gente es que qué tipo de música hago, siempre me preguntan eso, ¿no? Y yo siempre digo, pues hago un poco de música, un poco de todo, ¿no? Entonces hago reggaetón, hago latin trap, hago hip hop, hago un poco de funk si hace falta, ¿sabes? Y entonces para mí yo creo que yo hago música para el mundo, o digamos como world music, you know, lo que yo lo llamo, digamos, ¿no? Que lo puedo hacer un poco de todo. Y para mí, como yo lo veo, para mí no digo que es para todos los artistas, pero para mí, si yo voy al estudio o si estoy en el carro o, ¿sabes?, estoy en mi habitación aquí mismo y pongo una base, yo escucho la base y voy escuchando bases. Y si veo la base que en realidad me siento en el corazón y siento en la alma, que de verdad siento que me pega y siento que puedo sacar algo de aquí, pues esos son los tipos de bases que yo hago, ¿sabes? Hago de todo tipo en realidad. Entonces acabo de hacer una canción con un artista de Bangladesh que tiene como un tipo flow Bali, y entonces esto, para mí, música para el mundo, papi, ya lo sabes, world music. Bueno, y el segundo que me dijiste que eran mis influencias, ¿no? Yo creo que mis influencias son, bueno, de parte latina, yo creo que mi influencia desde pequeño siempre ha sido como Daddy Yankee, Don Omar, que yo siempre escuchaba como el reggaetón más vieja escuela, digamos, y aunque también me gustan los de ahorita. J Balvin es duro, Bad Bunny también, John Z, hay muchos, Anuel, hay muchos que son bastante buenos también ahorita también que me gustan. Pero para mí, como yo crecí como en Estados Unidos y yo me creí acá, en Miami, empecé con más estilo hip hop, que fue como más Eminem, Biggie, sabes, Tupac, cosas así. También me gustaba como Method Man y Cypress Hill. Pero de vez en cuando con mis padres había salsa, había cumbia, ¿sabes? Depende, había reggaetón, había un poco de todo. Entonces yo me creí con un poco de todo, pero yo creo que mi influencia más grande fue Eminem, porque después de la película 8 millas, yo creo que eso ya uy, parce, aquí ya me toca a mí hacer rap de una. Entonces seguro, sí, Eminem fue mi influencia más grande, seguro.
Muy interesante, excelente. So, and what does success look like for Greenfield, the artist?
What does the what? Say that again.
Success.
Okay, so success. All right, so the way I build up success, kind of like, of course, everybody wants to have, lots of friends and, and whatever, lots of money, and some people want the fame or whatever it may be, which, of course, everybody, at some point, everybody wants to be that person that everybody can see and look up to. But for me, I never really see it. I've always done music, so I've never, since for me, I always did soccer first. I never really see music like as something where I was going to make money out of, So now that I'm doing it and I'm kind of like, I guess like I'm getting money for my streams and things like that, like for me, it's just more of representing of who I am. And for me, success would be like, for my future to like when I look back when I'm like 70, 80 years old and I got like grandkids or whatever it may be, that I can look back in my life and be like, dang, man, I really did everything I wanted to do. I went out and I chased my dream as a professional soccer player. Things didn't happen the way they happened, but hey, man, whatever it is, I ended up making my own business as a soccer trainer and stuff as well as I moved back here. And then, I started training I started getting back into music and really finding my love for it again. And honestly, that's just how I feel, that when I can look back when I'm 70 and 80 years old, I can be like, dang, I really did everything I wanted to do and I have no regrets. And I feel like that's what success looks, at least for me. Not for every artist. Every artist has their own, success, but at least for me. So when I look back and I can see, I'd be like, dang, I did my music, I did my soccer, I did my thing, and I have no regrets, and I can live happily with that,
Right. Absolutely. So entonces, ¿qué es el éxito para Greenfield, the artist?
Okay, bueno, el éxito, muchos artistas tendrán, digamos, éxito para ellos diferente, ¿no? Digamos que dinero, fama, la gloria, lo que sea, ¿sabes? Aunque todo el mundo le gustaría tener eso, pero para mí como persona, yo creo que el éxito para mí es cuando yo me puedo mirar a mí mismo y porque la música que yo hago, yo siempre hacía la música desde, como yo era futbolista antes, yo nunca pensé que yo iba a ganar dinero por mi música, digamos, ¿no? Entonces, ahora que estoy ganando por mis streams, aunque sea lo que sea, para mí en realidad a mí no me importa eso, porque siempre ha sido como algo que amo, algo que yo quiero. Entonces, para mí, digamos, el éxito sería cuando yo me puedo mirar, cuando yo tengo 70, 80, ya cuando soy viejito por allí, y puedo mirar para atrás y puedo decir, mierda, de verdad hice todo lo que yo quería hacer, hice lo de fútbol, hice mi propio negocio y, ¿sabes? Lo hice yo mismo, hice la música que yo quería hacer, ¿sabes? Y yo no pienso parar y pienso hacerlo en todo lo que yo hago en mi vida, yo pienso seguir y dando lo máximo que yo doy, ¿sabes? Y para mí eso será lo más exitoso para mí, mirar para atrás cuando yo soy viejito y decir, mierda, el Greenfield lo hizo, yo hice todo lo que quería hacer, y ya no puedo mirar para atrás, eso mismo.
Ya. Estoy de acuerdo. So, entonces now, you sent over a couple of songs. If you can tell us about those songs.
Okay, so the first song I sent you was Delincuente. All right, yeah. So, all right, so Delincuente. All right, so let me tell you the whole story about Asesina and Delincuente. Okay, so the story in my head that I spoke, with one of the videographers that I was working with and stuff. He told me and we were like, yo, bro, this could have a story because Asesina means assassin, right? So assassin as a girl. So that's the plan that I had for the song. And so the storyline works as like she's an assassin and she works for whoever it may be and and she's pretty much at some point she has to become an assassin and I'm her main target, no? So this pretty much means that this goes out for all the girls who know that they, no matter what you look like, no matter who you are, no matter, your color, no matter what it is, you know that you're bad and you know this and you're an assassin because we're all beautiful in our own ways and we should believe that, so we should believe that from the inside out. So this is for the asesinas, the asesinas who really believe it, and this is one of my first reggaeton songs that I've ever done, so it's just it's something that I have to the heart close to mine. And but yeah, for me I just feel like it just goes out to all the ladies who have that self-confidence in themselves and really know what they offer, and what they bring to this and what they bring to the world. So, yeah, for sure. Las Asesinas. Shout out to all the Asesinas, by the way, out there.
Excelente. So, entonces, ¿usted tiene historias para sus canciones?
¿Alguna historia para mis canciones? Bueno, yo creo que te mandé Asesina, te mandé el de Delincuente también. Bueno, el de Delincuente te cuento cómo es, porque tiene un poco de historia que va pegado con la de Asesina, porque la de Asesina es de una mujer que es una asesina, y después el delincuente que soy yo, porque yo siempre de pequeño le pasé mucho por mi mamá. Mi mamá pasó mucho conmigo. Yo sé que le hice pasar mucho. Pobrecita mi mamá, la quiero mucho. Pero siempre pasé por cosas y yo sé que cada niño pasa por lo que pasa por su momento de ser niño malo y lo que sea, pero yo me veo a mí, siempre mi mamá me llamaba el delincuentico de la familia, entonces yo siempre se me queda en la cabeza, yo soy el delincuente. Entonces esa canción va de una mujer, digamos la asesina, ¿no? Que yo estoy enamorado de ella y yo, como soy un delincuente, yo haría lo que sea por ella. Y si escuchas la canción bien y escuchas las letras, se ve que yo haría lo que sea por la niña y se conecta un poco con la canción de Asesina cuando se ve en el vídeo, cuando sale el vídeo y se ve que el delincuente y la asesina se conectan y se quedan todos juntos y ya les va a encantar eso, pero eso es lo que va la canción, que el man está enamorado de una mujer, que seré yo, y yo haría lo que sea, mataría, robar, matar, lo que sea por esa mujer, porque al final del día yo soy el delincuente, ¿sabes? Entonces es lo que va esa canción.
Excelente, sí, asesina, sí. So, where can we find your music?
You can find my music on all platforms right now, on Tidal, Amazon Music, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. It's pretty much on all platforms, so you can find it anywhere you want. My last EP that I just dropped was called GTA, Greenfield the Artist. It was my first EP that I ever dropped. I would love for everybody to take a look at it, even if you hate it, whatever, like, I don't even care if you hate it, that's fine with me. Yeah. But go ahead and listen to it. Tell me that you hate it. Send me a DM and be like, yo, you're trash. That's fine with me. I'm going to show you love anyways, I promise you. And other than that, yeah, so just, you can find it anywhere. Spotify, iTunes, I know that's what people mostly use, so Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Tidal, everywhere, all platforms.
Excelente. ¿Y dónde podemos escuchar tu música?
Sí, Jesus Christ, mi música se puede escuchar en todas las plataformas, que es Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Tidal, Amazon, YouTube también. Estamos en todas las plataformas. Estamos escuchando. Mi última EP que yo hice fue GTA, que se llama Greenfield the Artist, que es mi nombre, pero en mi primer EP que yo he hecho en toda mi vida. Entonces sí, sería un honor que todo el mundo vaya y la escucha y que me comentan, y si les gusta, si no les gusta, si cree que soy una basura, da igual, mando un mensajito que yo les mando el amor también, ¿ok? Y bueno, sí, en todas plataformas estamos.
And the last question I have is, do you have any advice to artists out there? What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, for all the artists out there, I would just say try to stay true to themselves. I know with everything that's out through social media and everything like that, I know it's hard. We kind of get caught up into trying to do music just like how everybody else does, and yeah, that's cool and all, and and it rides and stuff, but try to find your music, try to find what makes you you, and just bring that out, because that's what people is gonna see, the truth. That's when people are gonna see the real inside of you, and that's when people are gonna actually start catching an eye and start following you. So just be real to yourself, be true to yourself, be true to people, your fans, and just be happy, and try not to. My main thing that my mom always told me, she's like, try not to take everything so personally. Especially in this music stuff, you're gonna have people that hate your music, you're gonna have people that love your music, you're gonna have people that close to you they're not gonna support you at all. You're gonna have people that you don't even know around the world that are gonna support every bit of everything that you do. So whatever it is, stay positive, keep working hard, stay true to yourself, and don't take everything so personal, and just do everything with love. Main thing, everything is with love, for sure.
Yes. ¿Y usted tiene consejos para las artistas?
Sí, algún consejo para las artistas que digamos que van subiendo. Yo creo que lo que tienen que hacer es ser ellos mismos, que sean ellos mismos, ¿sabes? Que sean, digamos, leal a ellos, que sean la música que ellos quieren hacer, porque yo sé que en este momento hay muchas artistas, con social media y todo que está ahorita, yo sé que se queda uno, ¿sabes?, queriendo hacer la misma música que hace este man y el otro man, porque ellos están arriba y este man está, ¿sabes?, y está ganando dinero. Pero sigan tu camino, parce, sigan lo tuyo, siga siendo usted mismo, siga siendo positivo y tira para adelante, porque eso es lo que más ve la gente, ¿sabes? Sea positivo, sea ti mismo, y ellos te van a seguir a ti por siendo leal y siendo, digamos, tú mismo con ellos, parce. Entonces, digamos así. Y lo demás, que no tomas todo lo que, digamos, no tomas todo tanto personal, ¿sabes? No tomas todo personal. Todo lo que hay gente que que les va a gustar la música que haces, hay gente que no les va a gustar, hay gente que les va a creer que no vales para nada. Pero bueno, parce, así es la vida, ¿sabes? Tú haz todo con cariño, con amor, con leal a ti mismo, como tú quieras, y la gente lo va a ver, ¿sabes? La gente lo va a ver porque eso brilla. Entonces, sea tú mismo, no tomas todas las cosas que te hace la gente personal, y todo lo que haces, hazlo con amor. Eso sí.
Sí, qué más. Ay. That's so sweet. Oh my goodness. Yes, but I totally agree. That's, you have to find your voice and, just believe in yourself, and, absolutely. So, Greenfield, the artist, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you taking out your time. It's actually pretty late.
No, yeah,
and we're doing this right now.
There ain't really much else to do right now, That's another thing.
Right.
Hope everybody's staying safe, around the world right now. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, so everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and And thank you so much for letting me do this. I know we've been talking about doing this for a minute, so thank you for staying patient and giving me this opportunity to get my voice out. Because this means a lot to me.
Well, I appreciate you coming. And that night I was dancing to your song, right?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
So yes.
Yeah, no,
That was
and I have so much more music coming that you're gonna love and that everybody's gonna love, and I truly know that if I keep working hard and keep doing what I'm doing, I know that I'm gonna have my opportunity to be at the top. And and like I told you, for me, this ain't about fame. This ain't about nothing like that. It's just for me to know that I can look back on one day and just be like, dang, I really did what I wanted to do. And I have no regrets, so for sure.
Exactly. So what I tell all of the artists I interview is to be inspired, be educated, be empowered, and please be entertained. Y estoy aquí para inspirarte, para empoderarte, para entretenerte y educarte. So, muchas gracias, muchas gracias, besos para ti. So, hopefully we'll hear from you again with more music, since you got a whole bunch of music. I am here whenever you feel like coming on and talking about some stuff, and maybe even we can
Yes,
we can
I actually
whatever,
have
as far as
I have a song dropping this month. Yes,
mm-hmm.
called Vision Clouded. Una canción que sale este mes, se llama Vision Clouded, les va a encantar. Y también tengo un par de music videos saliendo en YouTube. Si me sigan, if you guys can follow me on my Instagram page, si me sigan en mi Instagram, Greenfield _ the artist, Greenfield and underscore the artist. Yeah, I don't even know, but just follow me on Instagram. And it's too late right now, so follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much por todo el apoyo. Les doy mucho cariño, mucho amor a todos, por todo el mundo. Thank you for this opportunity once again. Y ya nos veremos entre poquito. Y no te olvides, este mes, Vision Clouded, baby, dropping soon.
Excelente. Muchas gracias, Greenfield, the artist, asombroso y lit.
Gracias.
Yes. Adiós. Muchas gracias.
Chao.
And that concludes this episode of Roadmap Street Signs Indie Artist Showcase. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you would like to send in your music, if you'd like to be featured on the show where we can push your music and hear your story, because the world needs to hear your music, definitely needs to hear your story. If you have a somewhat uplifting and positive message to put out there, because that is what I'm about, okay? You can send your information to sunjadanet at gmail.com. That's SUNJADANNETTE at gmail.com. You can also reach out to me via Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, where you can reach me, Sunja Danette, SUNJADANNETT. On IG is Sunja_Danette. So if you have questions, comments, information that you would like to hear on the show, some questions or concerns, other artists you want to get in contact with, definitely become a member on our Facebook group. On that page where we're able to exchange resources and just be, and it's really is about the show. So all the other stuff we kind of don't really do on that page in that group. But, we're expanding and definitely want you to be a part. And tune in next time. We'll be finishing up this guide on the sync licensing. And then we're going to go on to the other types of other types of license that you can get as an artist in order to expand your brand, in order to expand your freaking pockets, okay? Because that's what we're about, right? Expand your impact and influence, all right? So until next time, be inspired, be empowered, be educated, and please be entertained. Peace.